Hi, I'm Elise, and I was born in Korea and came to Canada when I was 5 years old. And for lunch, my mom would pack me kimbap, which is like seaweed and rice and like some vegetables or like meat inside. And it looks kind of like sushi, which people know. And my friends would think it would be gross and be very unaccepting of it. And that made me feel embarrassed and not really willing to share it with anyone. And not showing food is not really sharing a pretty big part of my identity. In my third year of university, I studied abroad in Scotland, and there I didn't eat any Korean food. And in the absence of Korean food, there was the absence of that part of my identity. And I felt myself wanting it not just for the taste of Korean food, but to have that part of me there while I was abroad.
My name's Sarah Goodman, and I grew up in Canada, and I'm a Canadian Jew. I think the one item of food that has stood out to me in my childhood that I wait every year for my mom to make would be her brisket. And we make the brisket for Pesach, which is the holiday of Passover, celebrating the Jews' freedom from slavery. And every year there are two seders. So we have a lamb at one and my mom's brisket at the other. And it's a cut of meat that can't be found at your regular butcher shop. So you have to go to a specific butcher, a Jewish butcher, to get the cut of meat. And it always seemed to fall on my shoulders to come with my mom to get the cut of meat. So I would pick up this 20-pound piece of meat from ages 4 through to 22, and I would help her carry it to the car, and then we would spend the next hour putting together the secret sauce, and it would cook for 4 to 5 hours, and the whole house would smell amazing. And then we would serve it with this big Seder in the evening. So making that brisket is a recipe I'm going to get from her when I leave my house, and it's something that I will definitely be passing on to my children. And that's my story.
My name is Lili Nkunzimana, and I was born in Rwanda. And I lived in Rwanda until I was about 9. And then I moved to the US with my sister to live with my dad. And we were in the US for a little bit. Then when my parents got married, we moved to Haiti, where I lived for about 5 years. And then I moved to Canada for school. So I don't really know where I'm from when people ask me that question. It's always complicated. But in terms of feeling, I feel more grounded in Haiti, I suppose. And I was fortunate enough to have a friend who from Haiti who moved also to Canada for school. So we always got together to speak Creole and eat Haitian food. I'm not that good of a cook, but she really makes this great shrimp Creole. In Haiti, everything that's made is made in a Creole sauce, which is basically a tomato-based sauce with onions and spices. So Sarah made this shrimp for us when we got together, and it just kind of always brought a little piece of home, or one of my homes at least, to me in Toronto. Yeah, it was just, I always looked forward to that when she was here. So that's my story.
My name is Paul Chin, and I'm from the Cayman Islands. Growing up in my household, food was always a very interesting thing, because I come from a Chinese Jamaican household. So a lot of the dishes that my dad would make, because my dad did a lot of the cooking, would have very, very distinct influences from a Jamaican way of cooking, which is typically making the most out of a little bit, or the worst parts of food, or the cheapest things you can find, and then Chinese dishes, which could be distinguished either by the dishes themselves, or the ingredients used, or certain spice palettes. I think one thing that always stands out to me as the flagship meal of this marriage is when my dad would do certain stir fries and fried rice dishes. He would use a lot of the, the common ingredients, so like the rice and vegetables and soy sauce and whatnot. But rather than something like a barbecued pork or a sweet and sour or anything else, he would often add curried shrimp in there, and which is definitely something that is more inherent to Jamaican cuisine than Chinese.
My name is Phoebe Lau, and my parents moved here from Hong Kong when they were in their mid-20s and gave birth to me. So I am fully Chinese, but was raised in a very white, affluent neighborhood. They really tried their best to incorporate both aspects of my Chinese heritage and the fact that I lived in a very white neighborhood. I was the only Chinese girl in my entire school for 8 years, so they really tried their best to incorporate white traditions into my lifestyle. So every Christmas we'd sit around our IKEA table and cut out shortbread cookies and ice them and make them, and growing up I thought that was completely normal. So my parents did a really good job of just making sure that I knew the culture that I was growing up in as well as the culture that I'm from.